Let me invite you to remain standing or to join me in standing as we do the national anthem, and then we move right into prayer. Reverend Watson will take us there immediately after the national anthem. Let us remain standing if we can, please. Reverend Godfrey Watson, Chairman for the Black River Ministers Fraternal, will take us through prayer.
Let us look to the Lord in prayer. Almighty God, you who have created us in your own image, you who created light, you have created water upon the land. We gather together today, Lord, to celebrate the giving of water, which water is life. And you are the eternal life giver. And you have provided streams of living water so that we can refresh ourselves. And water, Lord, has been provided in this era, across this era and the communities, so that they can have water which is really needed, running water within their homes. We pray that even now, as we celebrate with the NWC and the people of this era, we pray your blessings. We thank you for bringing the Most Honorable Prime Minister and the team here today to turn on water and people being appreciative of it. We pray that this ceremony will be meaningful and will challenge people, Lord, not only to drink water for their own health, but also, Lord, to seek you as a giver of life. Hear us even now as we ask all of these in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be walking you through this ceremony, which is the commissioning ceremony for the Middle Quarters Pipeline Project, or some of us know it more accurately as Charlie Gallant Corner to New Holland, right? I get it right today, not true? Ah, boy. Give me a clap now, man. Yes, man. Because I'm going to give you a clap as we go along. Now, I want to acknowledge Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Matthew Samuda, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Honorable Floyd Green, your Member of Parliament, in fact, for St. Elizabeth South, Western, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Richard Solomon. He's the Mayor for Black River. I also see Member of Parliament J.C. Hutchinson. I see also, I believe, Councillor is here, Councillor for the Brampton Division, O'Neill Buchanan. Is he here? Okay. Understand. I understand. And as we acknowledge the members of the MEG-JC team, members of the community from New Holland and Middle Quarters, good afternoon. Members of the media and the wider community. And I think I see former mayor of Black River. He has joined us as well. Good to have you. And of course, my boss, Mr. Herman Fagan, who is heading up the entire NWC team and the hard work that they have been doing. I hear the claps coming like it don't quite open through the pipe as yet. All right, excellent, excellent. We acknowledge our partners at the JISTV as well, who continue to keep the law, order, and the peace in the environment, and we're looking forward to their continued partnership. And so, guys, for this very special ceremony, as we move along, I want to therefore get right into the proceedings and invite Mr. Herman Fagan, Acting Vice President for the NWC, to come now with the welcome and opening remarks. Please make him welcome.
Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Honorable Matthew Samuda, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Honorable Floyd Green, MP, Member of Parliament St. Elizabeth Southwestern, MP J.C. Hutchinson, is Worship the Mayor, Richard Salmon, Mayor of Black River, other members of the political divide, people of St. Elizabeth. You can clap yourselves, you know. And I'm not going to specifically say the constituency itself. Hard-working members of the National Water Commission, members, yes. No man, they deserve a better unclap than that. Yes. Thank you so much. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, pleasant afternoon. It is indeed a great pleasure, a thrill, for us to be here one more time to commission this water project. In fact, we were in St. Elizabeth just over a month ago in Happy Grove, Delano. I was talking to my moderator earlier, and it seemed as if we are doing something in St. Elizabeth once per month or twice per month. So it's very important and it's very, very encouraging. At the NWC, one of our core objectives, one of our strategic objectives is to improve coverage and operation efficiency. And projects of this nature will go a very, very far way, certainly in terms of ensuring that our objectives are met. Just for a brief overview for those who were not able to hear what was said earlier, for Old Pepper to Gutters Transmission Pipeline, that project is valued in excess of $331 million. And that is just a part of the larger project, which is $2.9 billion. That is significant. That phase of the project is slated for completion December 2025. That is December of this year. Importantly, 110,000 residents and businesses in Greater Mandeville will benefit as a result. The scope of that project includes the installation of 6 kilometers of 24-inch ductile iron pipe wire from Old Pepper Wells to the Gutters facility. You might ask the question, why does this matter? It matters because the people of Mandeville and its environment will experience more stable water access with reduced disruption and more consistent supply times. We just left Runnit earlier. That small project is valued at in excess of $8 million, which was completed in September 2024. And what I must add is that that project was completed on time and within budget. That was in fact an internal executed project. The scope of that project include replacement of 1.5 kilometer of 2-inch pipeline. It matters for too long, residents of that community had unreliable water supply. And with the completion of that project, they will now be getting access to a more stable and consistent water supply. And importantly and significantly, where we are today, Charlie Gallant Middle Quarters Water Supply Project. The value of that project is in excess of $24 million. That project was completed in October 2024, and over 264 residents in Middle Quarters, Craigie, Lancewood, Rockland, Diligent, and New Orleans stand to benefit as a result. It means the project ensures that the communities in Middle Quarters and surrounding areas can now rely on a more reliable and a more stable water supply. I must hasten to add that though we are doing these investments, it is significant and is important that you, the resident, play your role and play your part in this significant investment, because the money that you pay today will go a far way in extending and improving the service, not only here in St. Elizabeth, but across the length and breadth of Jamaica. Currently, we have a amnesty program that is running, started in January of this year and culminates at the end of this month. There is still some time to go, and I would encourage every path beneficiary, everybody who has outstanding arrears in some shape or form, come in, talk to us. There is something in store for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, Sir Fagan. And he was right when he said he has been sweeping St. Elizabeth, right? You notice he started from one border and he's heading to the other one. You guys notice, right? Yes. But the number that was magical for this community is 24, not true? Yes. All right. We want to also acknowledge Isratech, who are the contractors for this particular work. I see the gentleman signaling here. And they have not only completed the pipe laying, but it's important to note that the road has been put back in order too. Not true? Yes. Excellent. Put your hands together for them. Now I'll be taking a number of greetings as we push along. His Worship the Mayor, his councillor as well, Richard Solomon, Mayor for Black River, will come now with his greetings.
Moderator, Mr. Delano Williams. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, ON, PC, MP, Prime Minister. Honorable Matthew Samoda, MP, Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Honorable Floyd Green, Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Elizabeth. Member of Parliament for Northwest St. Elizabeth, that's my 7-star general there. And of course, former Mayor of Black River, I saw Mr. Sangster earlier. Why you always ahead from my brother Sangster? Right at the front there, and I'm sure I saw Mrs. Sangster nearby. Acting Vice President of Operations, Mr. Herman Fagan. And my good friend, Reverend Godfrey Watson, Chairman of the Black River Ministry Fraternal. And I must say, members of the media, and you, the lovely people of St. Elizabeth, hearty afternoon to you all. Today is a great day. We must indeed give thanks. But I first want to extend my deepest sympathies to our Superintendent of Police, who met in an accident yesterday. Unfortunately, I understand that he was admitted, and as such, we are praying for him and the entire JCF family at this time. A good man he is. Now, I would normally say that today is a special day. Right? I would normally say that today is a special day, but the truth is, the frequency at which our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, is either doing a groundbreaking ceremony, Honorable Andrew Holness is either doing a groundbreaking ceremony for Runnit and Mega Quarters Pipeline project. It now feels like the norm because the honest truth of it, the Prime Minister is in the parish very frequently doing some groundbreaking. Just recently he was in Happy Grove and now he is in Goshen and now we are in New Holland. Now, the citizens of St. Elizabeth is now seriously wondering if the Prime Minister is a resident of St. Elizabeth. Keep the projects coming, Prime Minister. We love you here, sir. This pipeline project is significant in the overall development of the parish of St. Elizabeth and is a testimony to the fact that the government is committed to improve the quality of life of the people of St. Elizabeth. The government of Jamaica, under the leadership of Prime Minister Holness, is undertaking a significant investment in the nation's water infrastructure to address the challenges posed by climate change, enhance resilience, and support the need of a growing population. The government is spending billions of dollars right across the length and breadth of Jamaica. I am happy to report that St. Elizabeth is getting its fair share of water pipeline projects. Our administration, Prime Minister, brings life. Our administration, Prime Minister, bring life to the meaning, water is life. Today's ceremony represents how committed we are to water security, with a focus of water access to all. Prime Minister, on behalf of the citizens of the parish of St. Elizabeth, we want to express our deepest gratitude to you and the government for not only making a commitment, but to ensure that the commitment to the people of St. Elizabeth is honored and will be realized. Thank you, Prime Minister. Indeed, you're an honorable Prime Minister. I want to commend Minister Matthew Samoda and his team for the leadership he has provided in ensuring projects like these is being executed and managed appropriately. I also want to commend two of the hardest working member of parliament in the parish. And let me make it clear, we have 4 hard working member of parliament in the parish of St. Elizabeth. But I want to point out Honorable Floyd Green, otherwise called, yes, who would have made the necessary representation for you, the people, so that we can realize this opportunity. And I also want to point out Mr. Delroy Slowly, who would have made representation for the people up in Goshen and surroundings. I want to extend gratitude to the acting president of the National Water Commission and the entire support staff for their role that they played in realizing this project. To all the technocrats, engineers, contractors, all associated agencies, we express gratitude for your role and involvement with these water pipeline projects. Finally, I want to express my sincere gratitude to the people of St. Elizabeth for their patience, understanding, and appreciation for the pipeline projects. We see the traffic build up, but we understand the mission of this government, which is to improve the quality of life for the people we humble serve. I can honestly say that our Prime Minister is on a mission to transform Jamaica from a developing country to a developed first world country. I am excited to be a part of this journey, and I know that the people of St. Elizabeth is also enthused and excited. to realize this dream. It won't be too long when many more citizens of St. Elizabeth will be able to realize that dream of turning on your own tap to make a warm cup of tea or to take a nice, cool shower. With that, I say God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you for your kind words, sir. And so we continue with the greetings. And we go straight to the Honorable Floyd Green, Member of Parliament. And we will also invite, after your Member of Parliament speaks, we will invite the Honorable Matthew Samuda, Minister without Portfolio, in that order without my further interruption. Please make the Member of Parliament welcome.
The most honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, my colleague Minister and very good friend, Minister Matthew Samuda, Member of Parliament and the original 7-star General J.C. Hutchinson, the man who walked so that we all could crawl, Mr. Derek Sangster, our former mayor, former Member of Parliament, and his wife, Mrs. Sangster, Mrs. Smith Curry, our beloved Mrs. Smith Curry, our beloved Whitney. Of course, Councillor Richard Solomon, our mayor, and boy, Mayor going good. Excellent speech, Reverend Watson. Other special invited guests, of course, the members of the NWC team led by Mr. Herman Fagan here today. And I want to specially mention our parish NWC team, Ian Ibanks and that team. Can we give the NWC a big, big round of applause? Today is a good day. And I want to start by firstly thanking our Prime Minister. Thanking our Prime Minister for continuing to focus on rural development. Some people talk about rural development, others do the action to make our rural communities better. For a long time, people have said, we have to help rural. We have to do more for our country communities. But when you ask them what they have done, they are unable to show you what they have done. We can say that this Prime Minister has led the greatest transformation around access to water than any Prime Minister in the history of Jamaica. And it is very important for us here in St. Elizabeth. And let me tell you why. In 2011, a study was done about the water supply in St. Elizabeth. And the study showed that only 50% of our parish was supplied with water. In fact, only 44% of the households in St. Elizabeth had access to potable water. And that sounds bad enough. But you know what made it worse? Of the 50% that had pipes, 50% of those pipes were laid before I was born, were laid over 40 years ago. And they were not maintained. They were not changed. So when I came into the constituency, everybody and every area that you went, you heard we have water problems. You heard MP help us with the water. And I can tell you, we haven't just looked at the problem and left it. We have made things much better than we found it. And this is all over the constituency, in every single area. If you go over the bridge, we change the pipe that ran from Hounslow to Watchwell. We change the pipe that ran from Watchwell to Barbary Hall. We change the pipe that ran from Williamsfield to Hopewell. We put in a brand new pipe from Hopewell to Fort Charles to get water into those communities. And when you come on this side, the Black River Pipeline, in fact, I remember when I was running PM, I heard an NWC man on the radio talking about the Black River Pipeline. Said it was laid in the late 1960s, early 1970s. He said it was porous. In fact, every single day, the Black River Pipeline used to break. And I can tell you, we did a brand new pipeline from Dallintoba into Black River. And now the residents in all of those areas are seeing better. And then when we came over now to Middle Quarters and this area, you know, PM, the Middle Quarters area has some of the best people you can find in the entire world. They are some of the most hard-working people. They go out and make their own. Whether they're farmers, whether they're fishers, whether they're preparing the best peppered shrimp in the entire world, they go out and work for their families and for their generations to come. And when we came into the square, they said, MP, the water. In fact, so many communities around Middle Quarters did not have pipe water any at all. None at all. They had to depend on community tanks to get water. And as I'm sure Minister Samuda will go in detail to tell you some of the specifics. But we did work at the Luana well. We changed the pipeline from Luana to Middle Quarters. We went into the communities and put pipelines for the first time in places like Lancewood. And now we are commissioning this new pipeline from Charlie Galleon to right here in New Holland. We have done a lot of work. But I'm here to tell you, more is on the horizon. We still have additional communities inside, whether it be Dingent, whether it be Craigie, Bailey Ground, that still need some pipelines. And we've already discussed with Rural Water and the NWC to get those pipelines. So PM, I'm going to want you to come back when we put in those pipelines in the internal to ensure that those communities have pipe. Again, we have done the work from Sandy Ground to Black River. But we're going to continue that work from Black River all the way to Arlington to deal with communities like Vineyard and Arlington. And I'm sure Minister Samuda will tell you that we're going to break ground for that soon. So PM, I want you to come back when we're breaking ground for that Black River to Arlington pipeline. Outside of water, PM is going to have to come back again because we're going to break ground this year for the Pedro Plains irrigation scheme, which will be the biggest ever irrigation scheme done in the history of Jamaica. So I'm going to want you to come back for that. And PM, you might not know, but if you look around, you will see some people who have on some hard hats and they have on some vests. We would have started work today on our Spark Road that is running from Schoolhouse all the way down to Charlie Galleon Corner. So I want you to come back to cut the ribbon for that. What we are saying, PM, and I hope you hear us loud and clear, we want you to come back because, PM, let me tell you, we are ready. So whenever you are ready, just tell us because we will do everything to ensure you continue to do the good work to ensure we secure the third term. And as I close, we do this not for power, but we do this to ensure that our people are better. We do this to ensure that our communities are better. We will always choose the Jamaican people. We will always choose to develop our rural communities. In fact, one thing you know about this Andrew Holness-led government, we will always choose Jamaica. We will always put Jamaica first. So PM, Minister Samuda, and I'm going to tell you. No, I don't like to talk, and then them say, him do it because behind my friend. But Minister Samuda has been doing an excellent job at the water portfolio. And he has been addressing some challenges that we've had for years. I don't even talk about Whitehall, Minister Hutchinson. I don't even talk about how we've struggled with Whitehall and how all of those communities in the Whitehall, Mayhill, Sharika Drive up to Newmarket are now being dealt with. So Minister Samuda, I want to tell you thank you. Very well done. And PM, my message to you, we ready, so whenever you're ready.
I will accept that as the introduction. Good afternoon, middle quarters. Allow me to adopt the protocol which has already been established by my friend and brother, MP, Minister Floyd Green. But special welcome to former Mayor Sangster and Mrs. Sangster. Of course, I must acknowledge my boss, the most Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Minister of Defense, and Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Now, it's an interesting ministry listed at the end, one that I'm happy and proud to be a part of, Prime Minister. And this is one of those days where you're seeing that ministry in action. Because as Minister Greenwood had just mentioned, you have road work up the road, Prime Minister. As I'm sure MP Hutchinson, Minister of State, can tell you, work has already started up the road with water, Prime Minister. And as I know your housing team is itching to get you out of the water portfolio to go back down the road to do some housing, you can see what that ministry is all about. But I was sharing with the Prime Minister before, in a light moment, that you have this awesome ministry, this amalgamation of 7 or 8 subject areas. But now you have a little bit of internal tension, but internal tension for all the right reasons. Competition for the Prime Minister's time to go and commission or break ground on so many projects that you have in so many parts of the country. And as with all ministries, you have persons who come from every parish. So everybody wants to see their project in their neck of the woods commissioned. But Prime Minister, I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know how you're going to manage with your schedule, Prime Minister. Because we are underway with over 100 water projects throughout the length and breadth of this Jamaica land we love, Prime Minister. 100 projects, 42 major capital projects, and 60 plus minor projects being executed between the Water Commission, the National Water Commission, the Rural Water Supply Limited, JISTV, and a few being supported also by the NHT, Prime Minister. And I can tell you, we get calls to the office when persons see a project finish last month and you don't come yet. Because it is not just sufficient that the water work is done, they actually want it to be acknowledged that you have invested in their community. It is a point of pride for them, and it is a point of pride for us, Prime Minister. You also have now an interesting point of tension between regional managers at the NWC, Prime Minister, because you go into this parish and you don't go to that one yet. And you turn on this project in this area without going to that one. But I say to you, Prime Minister team, ladies and gentlemen, we have 13 major capital projects under contract that we need 2 hours each, Prime Minister, for you to come and break ground as soon as your schedule will allow. That is 7.3 billion Jamaican dollars procured, under contract, pipes in Jamaica, ready to go as soon as you are ready to go, Prime Minister. Now, people hear about these projects, and you know, the people from middle quarters can tell you that when we give our word, we mean it. But certainly, I wish to assure residents in two other parts of St. Elizabeth that your calls and cries have not gone unheard. Two of the major projects that will see significant investment starting in April from the National Water Commission include installation of pipes from Magati to Newton. Prime Minister, that is under contract already for $44 million of works in addition to the pipes already purchased. I wish to assure Minister Green, because I know he is particularly territorial when we come into his space, that he doesn't like the announcements sometimes to everybody else, Prime Minister, but you know, nothing wrong with passing Christine Pickney first. Black River Town Centre to Arlington, ladies and gentlemen, is already under contract. Pipes are purchased and in stock, and we are ready to deploy $80 million of capital works into that area as soon, Minister Green, as you can get Prime Minister to give us another afternoon in the area. I'm telling you, the Prime Minister has a problem, you know, because he has several parishes and other projects to go and commission too. So we do have a challenge, but it's a good challenge. And ladies and gentlemen, these are not announcements. These are not empty promises as has happened in the past. This is the revenue of the National Water Commission being supported by the Consolidated Fund to implement water projects at a faster rate than has ever been done in Jamaica. And this isn't investment for investment's sake. It is investment in your quality of life. It is investment in our commitment to Vision 2030, our Jamaica Vision 2030, to ensure that every man, woman, and child has access to potable water by 2030. Every man, woman, and child has access to suitable sanitation by 2030. You see, documents tabled in Parliament can't be empty. They can't be simply academic exercises. They can't be empty promises. This is the coming to life of Vision 2030. This is evidence of us choosing Jamaica for 2030. This is evidence of us doing what we say. And I remember when we came here, Minister Green, when we commissioned Luana to Middle Quarters. And sometimes, because there's so many projects, we don't remember to tell people each element. This is part 3 of a project that has already seen 113 million Jamaican dollars of the National Water Commission's revenue invested into the people of Luana to Middle Quarters. Now this phase is the completion of work between Charlie Gallant and Middle Quarters, and that is a $24 million investment in you. This is not the first investment that I have had the privilege of commissioning with my colleague and friend. It will not be the last. MP Hutchinson, I have one more for you that I know you're waiting on, but I'm not going to go into it today because I have to carry the Prime Minister again to that one as well, as I think that is important. But it is one that is near and dear to your heart. I also want to assure MP Slowly, I'm not sure where he's seated, that we have 3 projects for him in the rural water budget starting April 1, 2025. This is not empty words, ladies and gentlemen, and we're proud of the work that we're doing in water. And we can spend hours telling you about each project. And when you look at the map, you see that projects are deployed in every inch of this country. But as Minister Green will tell you, disproportionately so in rural Jamaica, because we are committed to uplifting rural communities, and we are committed to doing so with infrastructure. Water, sewage, and roads, supported by schools and health centers right across the length and breadth of this country. And of course, the Prime Minister's baby, his housing projects. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not the only update I have for you today. I wish to bring your attention also to a project that the Prime Minister would have announced in November. One that I believe has gone particularly well thus far, Prime Minister. 21,213 Jamaicans who had accounts disconnected because of unpaid bills have reached out to us after your announcement in November, Prime Minister. They have come in and they're at varying stages of the process. And I'm happy to report that 3,200 of these Jamaicans who were suffering without their water connection have had their debts written off because your government cares. I'm happy to report that they are reconnected, Prime Minister. I'm happy also to report, Prime Minister, that 5,135 customers are in the queue to be reconnected on top of the 3,271 Jamaicans who have already benefited, Prime Minister. But this is because your government cares. It is also because we understand how to manage the Water Commission. It is why we have not used it and run amok, as others have done in the past. It is because we've built financial buffers both within the Water Commission and within the central government that we're able to do these things. And for those who didn't qualify for full write-offs but qualified for 50%, we have also ensured that we earn $207 million that we wouldn't have earned for the Water Commission through this exercise. So, Prime Minister, so far, so good. It is going well thus far. We have other major announcements, but they are yours, and I suspect some will happen today and some will be next week in the budget. But ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to have honored my word to you when I came here when we commissioned the line from Luana. This is a promise made from your Prime Minister, a promise kept. And yes, I conveyed the message at that commissioning, but I'm happy to report mission accomplished, Prime Minister.
Thank you, Minister, and before that, your Member of Parliament for bringing very, very timely and positive updates. And so, guys, we're going to take a little pause for an item to be brought by Miss Kimberly Morant. She's one of the persons who is not only a customer service team member, but she can also sing. And so we do right into that item. And then obviously, you don't want to hear me talk much longer, not true? I knew that. So please make her welcome, and then we make way for the man of the hour.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so we're going to go without the music. We're having a little technical difficulties. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Rise up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorsteps, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is a message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. I rise up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Sing with me, everyone. Singing, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be all right. Baby, don't worry about a thing, cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Singing, don't worry about a thing, cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Thank you, everyone.
Come on, put your hands together for Kimberly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to turn your attention this way for the next several moments. And as he comes, I want you to just bear this thought in mind, that the first and the most important choice a leader makes is the choice to serve, without which one's capacity to lead is severely limited. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, your Prime Minister.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Allow me to acknowledge the first citizen of Black River, your mayor, and immediately after that, the former mayor, and your members of parliament who are here, councillors and councillors caretakers, and you, the lovely people of St. Elizabeth, the parish of my father. So I consider myself a parishioner, or rather a parishioner. And I do recall many summers in the parish on my father's farm. And this is where I learned many important and valuable principles of life, including hard work, the value of hard work, the value of service, humility, and respect. And I have come to love and respect the people of St. Elizabeth because they demonstrate a very high level of independence. But not only that, they also display a very high level of peace. I had the great privilege of speaking to the High Command of the parish. And at this point, let me wish Senior Superintendent Minto a speedy recovery. I gather he was in an accident recently, as yesterday. But I was informed this morning that the parish continues to do very well from the last time I got an update, which was last month. That there is only one murder reported in the parish. And that you are tracking 80% behind where you were last year this time. And these are some amazing statistics. It goes to show that peace is achievable. Peace is possible. None of you here, I can say with a great sense of certainty, is causing, creating, or contributing to crime and violence in your parish. It is but a few, maybe less than 1% of the population, in fact, definitely less than 1%, who are the cause of criminality and violence. All of you are decent, law-abiding citizens, captured by a few troublemakers. And it is time that all the decent, law-abiding people of the country rise up in unison as one, support our police officers, and our police officers in turn must treat the people with respect, as we have seen here in the parish, and form a bond, an unbreakable bond that locks out the criminals, that throws them out of your parish. And then we will have a sustainable peace. It requires all of you to be wardens of this peace. What we have achieved in the parish can continue if all of you here commit to working with the police, to share information with the police, because you recognize that it is not in your interest to keep the very small number of troublemakers around you. Run them out of your community. Throw them out. Push them out. And the police knows how to take care of them justly and appropriately. But my visit with you today is not about security. My visit to you today is about water. Water, obviously, is life. And everybody here wants to have water. Maybe 50 years ago, it was sufficient that the district had a standpipe. Maybe 30 years ago, it was sufficient that there was a water main on your road. But definitely today, everybody wants water in their house, in their kitchen, and in their shower. And so the government's task in the provision of water, based upon the expectations, the legitimate expectations of the people, is not just to pull the water out of the ground or out of the river. That is the production of potable and irrigable water supply, which we have done today, looking at the old Pepper to Gutters, what we call the Greater Mandeville Water Supply Project, which an element of that would have been to create a new well and rehabilitate the existing well, put in new pumps and various other sensors and systems to manage those pumps so that they don't go down, and to regulate the electricity supply, and then to put in some very huge ductile iron pipes. I believe these would be 24 inches in diameter, so they are this wide. And we will pump water from Pepper. That's where I spent most of my time as a youngster in the summer. And that water will be pumped up Spur Tree and go to a relief station, which will then pump further into central Manchester and northwest Manchester. A few months ago, well, a year ago, I met a lady whilst I was on campaign in the local government election in 2024. And one of the things she complained about was that at her age, she was in her 70s heading to 80, and she complained bitterly that she had no water. And her complaint was not just the lack of water. Her complaint is that at her age, she can't carry water on her head anymore. So she, without water to her home, could potentially be deprived of it. Or more realistically, the cost for her to get water would be far more, because she would obviously have to pay someone to get the water to her. So while she would take some comfort in knowing that this massive multi-billion-dollar project, which moves water from St. Elizabeth, Goshen Pepper, up to Spur Tree, and possibly to pass her yard gate, that is being done, but it is not the instant solution, because this project has been going on now for the past 18 months or a little bit more than that. But this is how these projects are. It takes time to dig the well. It takes time to build the pumping station, and it takes quite some time to dig those trenches and lay the pipes properly so that they don't break when the heavy trailers drive over them or when the pressure increases in them. So that is being done, and we are trying to move as quickly as possible. So we're not just looking at capital infrastructure, which takes some time before you feel the impact of it in your shower. We are also looking at, I don't want to use the word short term, because in some areas, this would be what you would call or describe a sustainable solution. So we have announced a project that would bring water tanks to several vulnerable, over 10,000 vulnerable households in Jamaica. In fact, more than that. We're targeting about 50,000 vulnerable households in Jamaica. We're over 3 years, where we will provide 200, 400, 600, 800, up to 1,000 gallon tank, depending on the assessment of the situation, and indeed provide guttering for the collection of rainwater, and provide support and training for youngsters to develop the skill of doing water harvesting within certain communities. That project has already started. It is ready to roll, and you are going to see the project now in full rollout starting today. Minister Samuda has assured me that they have now secured almost about 10,000 tanks in place, water tanks, and those are going to be distributed right across Jamaica. So if you have already been assessed, usually your MP or some other entity would have made contact with you, the Ministry of Water, and if you are assessed as one of the households in need of the tank, then very soon those tanks will be rolling out to your home. Now, I don't know if the lady I met in Northwest Manchester is one of those persons benefiting from the tank. I do hope she is. If I could remember her name, I would go and find her. But we will try to find her, because I'm certain it was recorded when I had the interaction. But I would really want to provide a solution for that lady, because there is a solution provided by the government for almost every household that is without water in Jamaica. Now, in as much as we are providing these solutions, we are very sensitive, very, very sensitive, and we are very careful that as we do these large capital works, these multi-billion-dollar projects, and we are moving water from certain communities, that the community from which we are moving the water is not deprived of water themselves. So in the lovely community of Runnit, which is where the wells have been dug for this massive Greater Mandeville Water Supply Project, we have also spent 8 million Jamaican dollars to put in 1.5 kilometers of 1-inch water main to ensure, 2-inch water main, to ensure that the people in that community have water running past their gate, and if they choose to become a customer of the NWC, which I think all of them will be, that they can have water in their kitchen and in their shower. So that community is now served with water. And we are here now in middle quarters to commission the installation of pipelines. Now, everyone would have probably thought that this community, middle quarters, everybody knows about the great shrimp and everybody drives past here coming through Holland Bamboo, and this area is such a lovely area. You would have believed that you had a reliable water infrastructure. As it turns out, it is not the case. And it is this government, my administration, yes, the Andrew Holness-led administration, that is putting in 1 kilometer of 6-inch ductile iron pipe to ensure that this area is properly served with water, as we did in several other communities across Jamaica. Now, Minister Samuda pointed out that the NWC is not just investing in the infrastructure, whether it is tanks or putting in wells and putting in the ductile iron pipes. We recognize that water is an important and indeed critical part of the cost of living to the citizens. It's, for some, you know, it could be a significant portion of your household income that you have to pay for water. And we know that there have been several households that have been deprived of the utility of water, and because of that, they have been disconnected from the system. But you can't live without water. So what you end up doing is paying more for water, because you're either going to have to go buy it from a truck, drive, go and get it, beg your neighbor, and then you have to pay your neighbor something, and then not having the water increases your inconvenience. So it is not in your interest not to have the water. It is not in the country's interest for you not to have the water. And it is not in the NWC's interest to not have your water rate payment. So what we did as a government, recognizing the significant cost this is to your cost of living, is to put in place an amnesty. And Minister Samuda would have given you some of the figures. The amnesty is going very well. Persons are taking advantage of it. They're coming in. They're clearing their debts. We have over 22,000 applications. And what I'm going to do, I'll announce it in the budget, but I can announce it here. We're going to announce the date of the extension of the amnesty, so that more Jamaicans who are not a part, who have not yet registered for the amnesty, could get an opportunity. Because we understand and we care. Now, I want to say a little thing here, because yesterday I heard a promise made. And look, I don't think anyone comes into politics with ill intentions against the people. I think people come into politics wanting to do good. But having been in this position for almost 9 years now, more than 9 years, I have come to understand that you can't, as a politician, have a wish without having wherewithal. So there are some politicians who wish for things, but they never pay attention to the wherewithal, meaning the ability to actually deliver. I made sure that I will never be the politician that wishes for things without having the wherewithal to deliver. Because I don't believe in wishful thinking. So you will note that almost every Friday I am on the road, breaking ground, commissioning, handing over, all kinds of things happening. And in fact, as Minister Samuda pointed out, you know, the Ministry of Water is saying, Prime Minister, you spend too much time on the housing. And the NWA is now saying, Prime Minister, there's a whole heap of roads now on the spark. You need to spend some time on that so the people know what we are doing. So, you know, before they used to say they have a pipeline of investment and a pipeline of project, and when you turn on the pipeline, it's just air. No, what we have now, and I did this pipeline business, what we have now, our economy is on track. Yes. And we have a train load, a trailer load of projects, capital projects, small projects, medium-sized projects, large projects and programs, things that are going to improve your life. I could spend every day from now to whenever the election is, just delivering project after project after project after project. I could do that because this is the first government that made promises and commitments, but also focused on the wherewithal. I want you to pay attention to that word. The wherewithal, the ability to deliver. No other government has the track record that this government has. But let me be the first to tell you, let me be the first to say that after 40 years of disinvestment in our infrastructure, in our systems, that it won't happen in 2 or 3 years that everybody will get the water that they want, that everybody will get the house that they want, that the transportation system will be fixed overnight. It takes time. What this government invested in the first term and the second term of our administration is, while we are delivering, we have been increasing the ability and pace and resilience and sustainability of our economy. And that is what gives us the wherewithal to deliver the benefits that matter to you. So the phase that we are now in the development cycle of the country is, yes, we have the wherewithal, but what we need now is to increase the pace of delivery. And that means we have to get the public bureaucracy. I use that word, don't mind it. The public bureaucracy, it means the government entities and agencies, the public servants, the civil servants, and everyone who works in the government, to increase the pace at which they deliver the projects. Right? So I don't know if you watch the long distance race. Right? You know that they start out at a slow pace. Right? And they're running and they're running. And then when they reach now, coming close to the end of the race, you notice that they pick up the pace and they start to lift the legs up to the chest and they're moving. So we are in that phase now where we need to get the public sector bureaucracy to increase the pace of delivery. I give you a little statistic. almost since this administration has come in, we have increased significantly the capital budget. The capital budget is what we spend on infrastructure. So, for example, this year, you heard Minister Williams say that the easiest thing for her to have approved was the $10 billion, which I had said that we were going to spend here for water, which will, most of it will go to the NWC for over 40 capital projects, massive projects. It's 15. Yes, oh, it's $15 billion. Thank you, Minister, for generally. But the 10 to NWC. And she said that based upon her experience and the commitment of the government to water, that was the easiest one to approve. Now, almost every year, the amount that we approve for capital is not fully expended because of some issue in the public bureaucracy. Either some procurement issue happen, some delays happen, some administrative or regulatory barrier happen. People who have the statutory, lawful authority to make decisions that politicians don't have sometimes, don't make the decisions, so the project stay there in limbo. And then by the time the year is out, you don't get your water, even though the budget is there for it. So that is a problem in government that we have to fix. Because if the economy is delivering a certain level of capital budget, then the pace of utilization of the public sector needs to increase even faster than the pace at which we are providing the budget so that the benefits to you can come in quickly. And that is the next phase of our economic development cycle. And that is why we say we are going to now pivot into growth, because a part of why we are not growing is that we are not utilizing the capital budget as quickly as we should. And it's only one administration can do that, and that is the Andrew Holness-led administration. So I heard some wishful thinking being applied. And it sounds very good. Indeed, I like it. That we must give a flat rate to pensioners. It sounds good. And I'm sure every pensioner would immediately say, yes, this is something that we should do. But I want you to just think with me for a moment. Because this is not the first time that a politician has stood up in Parliament and made commitments without first thoroughly assessing the economic impact and the wherewithal to actually deliver that commitment. The story is told of a former very popular politician who stood up in Parliament and announced free education, and his Minister of Finance didn't even know. Now, every benefit that is given comes with a cost. And while you may get the benefit and believe it's free to you, it costs somebody else. So politicians must be very careful how they give benefits that redistribute equity in the society, and how those benefits impact the ability to actually deliver the benefit. Now, you will note that, there are some challenges with determining who are actually pensioners. You can say, well, you have the list of pensioners from government? Or are we also going to give pensioners who worked in the private sector? That wasn't quite clear as to how they would do it. But let's say we knew who are all the pensioners. But how do you treat with the question of someone who will freeload on the benefit? Meaning that someone is a pensioner, they have a house, they rent out the house. Who should get the benefit? Is it the pensioner who owns the house and just them alone get it? Or what about the 4 or 5 other people who live in the house? So what you end up doing is siphoning off, essentially, a lot of revenues from the NWC in trying to assist the pensioners, but you will also be assisting, in quotation mark, persons who are not pensioners as well. And so what you would find is that you would be decreasing the NWC's revenues. And then having made the commitment, no, you can't walk it back. You're going to have to go find the revenues from somewhere else to do that. So what I'm saying is, I too agree that we must find a way to help our pensioners, because water is a significant portion of their cost of living. So we found a way to help everybody, but it is targeted to the people who really need it. So the first thing you want to do whenever you're going to give these kinds of benefit is to find a way to identify the beneficiary, to make sure that the person is justified. That's number one. And number two, to make sure that the benefit can leak. That people who are not pensioners don't come and benefit from a benefit that should be for the pensioners. So it requires deeper thought and deeper thinking. So yes, the two parties want to help the pensioners, but only one political party has demonstrated the skill, the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the ability to deliver these benefits without compromising the wherewithal, the economy, to deliver it. So these past 9 years of the Andrew Holness-led administration has been delivering a trailer load of benefit without compromising the wherewithal, without compromising the economy. In fact, we have done it in such a way that we have strengthened the economy. And that is giving us now resilience and sustainability to continue to bring the benefits to you, the good people of Middle Quarters, who can now say, I will have water running into my yard and into my shower and into my bathroom. Now you will have reliable water supply. So no, they have it. It's done. Yes. So my friends, it was such a pleasure to have been in your company and to be able to share with you my thoughts and to have your feedback. God bless you. Thank you. Enjoy your shower.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was your Prime Minister sharing very timely updates. And we are looking forward to seeing the continued benefits to you, the citizens of Jamaica. All of this means we now get a chance to walk across the street, Prime Minister, and to actually open the pipe to show proof of all.
All right.
Look good. Some people
there, you might get wet, yeah?
So it won't go so far. It's not so far.
community piece. So.
Ready? Good. Good.
Excellent. Very good.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone.
I will represent Christ Green in life every day. When people of course, come me man and come first because all of them are references. Yes, yes. God bless you, sir.